So I wanted to make a quick video about my VNG exam and testing, and then also give you an update of where I'm at this week and hopefully hear subsequently what will happen. I did have VNG testing this week, and I am going to be very honest. I will caution with saying that I'm very, very glad I did the test, and I would recommend the test. However, it is not for the faint of heart. I guess it really depends on what disorder, vestibular disorder you have, and obviously everybody's different and everybody will have different experiences. My experience was not a pretty one, and typically they will tell you that you will not be able to eat or drink 12 hours before. They warned me even with water to be very extra cautious in the morning, to not drink, a full bottle of water. But if I really needed a quick drink, just keep it very, very at a minimum, and just water in that morning. I was very nervous. Obviously, I did a little bit of research and I did see some videos, so I knew kind of what was going to happen. When I showed up, they told me to sit down. They obviously went through all my history, etc., which is kind of a normal intake when you go to a doctor. And then I met the audiologist and the tech with her, and they introduced themselves and they kind of walked me through the three-part portion of it. They told me the first one would be visual. So everything was pretty easy. It was a big screen TV. They put goggles on you. If you've had vestibular therapy before, you kind of are very aware of the goggles. They put it on you. They record your eyesight and your eyes. And so pretty easy. You look at a different kind of things on the screen. I think there was like a green dot or a blue dot or a yellow dot at one point, and it was just different spheres and different things that they see you, and then you follow it along and they record you. And then the second part was the movement of your head. So they have you look different ways, different positions. They actually do the kind of like the Epley maneuver to see if it is like your crystals. And they shook my head really, really hard, and that made me really dizzy. And then at the end, it's the caloric test. Now, the office where I was, they did do it with water. I know there's other offices that may do it with air, and mine was with water. And I can tell you the water was very uncomfortable. They told me they were going to do warm water first. When they said warm water, I really thought warm, but honestly, to me, it felt more like hot. It wasn't obviously like completely burning, but it was a little bit more than warm. It was definitely not room temperature. They did my right ear first, and it was full vertigo, insane vertigo. Now, parentheses here, I have never experienced vertigo, and I can confirm this now. Before, they were always ask me, are you dizzy, are you lightheaded, or do you have vertigo? And they would say, do you have like spinning of everything? And I would always say no. I always feel like I'm on a boat. I'm very lightheaded. I am dizzy, but I've never experienced any similar to what I would consider vertigo. Now, my ENT states that vertigo, there's, I guess, different, a spectrum of vertigo, and that dizziness is vertigo. He did explain that to me. However, the, I guess, lamest term of what, everybody foresees vertigo as, I have not experienced until that day. and it was quite scary. I can now understand why a lot of people who have labyrinthitis or any other vestibular disorder who do have true vertigo, they immediately go to the ER. And I think in a way, probably true vertigo kind of really makes the diagnosis a little bit faster because, you do have this obscene symptom where it is truly something uncomfortable. That is something that I did not experience, and I think that's why my diagnosis got carried a little bit into more a chronic condition, because it took a while for them to realize what it was, because I didn't have true vertigo. I had lightheadedness, I had dizziness, and therefore we went down the path of like brain stroke, heart attack, all the other different things that could be wrong. Not that vertigo, obviously, some of the symptoms could be caused for that. But once those are ruled out, typically, then the ear is something that they look at. I did have a panic attack right after the first year. It was just such an insane symptom that I had never experienced. It was quite scary. The whole ordeal was just something that I was not prepared for. And it really caught me off guard. I became quite frantic, and they had to calm me down. Mind you, they tell you you're not supposed to take any medication that will obviously potentially have adverse results. So you can't have any anxiety medication, you can't have any dizzy medication. So obviously you have to go in there kind of a all natural, and it's very hard. I didn't think I could do it. In fact, I told them I don't think I can finish it, but they were, the audiologist was really nice. The tech was really nice. They were there, and, they were rubbing my shoulder, rubbing my hand, and they were like, yes, you can do it. We need to know what's wrong. And like, the only way to know what's wrong is to do this. And they did my left ear with the warm water, and I had the same reaction, and I had another panic attack. And I honestly did not think I could do the cold water. They were very patient with me. They did the cold water on the left. Very similar symptoms. They did it to the right. And I honestly had 3 panic attacks during the whole thing because I could not believe the intensity of which the the vertigo would come. Yes, so quite scary, quite traumatic. Um, and honestly, that day I came home and I drank my medication right away, and I was extremely dizzy. I honestly didn't even eat the rest of the day. I just felt nauseous and quite uneasy. And doubt starts creeping in. I'm like, should I have done it? Should I not have done it? And then the next day, I was still quite dizzy. In fact, I still felt like I had some water in my ear, even though they told me, you don't have water in your ear. They checked, triple checked. I did call my ENT's office after about 36 hours because I still felt quite dizzy, and they told me we would start another round of prednisone just to kind of calm me down, because the experience obviously was quite an ordeal. And they said sometimes with VGN testing, like the vestibular system has been just put through just a lot of stress. So they would say inflammation may start building up, so they wanted to make sure that we kept that under control. So I did start some prednisone dose, and I can tell you right now it's been about 5 days, and I am feeling a little bit better. I am on the prednisone, so we'll see after prednisone how I feel afterwards. But the acute symptoms and the really bad dizziness did subside. I am very happy because I did get results, and I will get more of a full diagnosis here in the next week or so, and I will have a treatment plan for me. But they did confirm that I did have some peripheral vestibular system abnormalities. And it's basically saying that I did have some abnormalities found in my vestibular system, which obviously points to probably a complete diagnosis of labyrinthitis. Now, there could be other issues, and that's when I'm going to be discussing that with my ENT here in a week. And we will kind of go through the full diagnosis. It could be that labyrinthitis was the acute symptom of the inflammation, and then now potentially there could be something different or in conjunction of. So I will be speaking with my ENT regarding that. So to summarize, yes, VNG testing was something that I was very nervous about, and in fact, it was something that I would not try again. I would not try that again. I think that if they have the confirmation, that's what they're gonna go through, because I don't think I would be able to put myself through that. Now I can probably do the visual and the looking different directions. I could do that, no problem. But the caloric water testing or air testing, I would not put myself through it. But saying that, I'm so glad that I did go through at least once, so that I have confirmation of vestibular abnormalities. I can tell you, after I received the confirmation, my anxiety just went from like a 10 every day to like a 4. Very manageable. I can rationalize what is wrong. I can make sure that I can take care of myself. I can do the breathing exercises that vestibular therapy has taught me. And then it kind of clicked with me. Like, okay, you do have a vestibular disorder. We can confirm it. And then physical therapy is like clicking. Before, because I had a preliminary diagnosis. I didn't have confirmation of that diagnosis. I think because of that, physical therapy was hard in a way, because I didn't quite know if that's what I had. I don't know if that makes any sense. But in my brain, it clicked. It's like, okay, there's something wrong. You are supposed to feel this way. Let's use all the techniques that you've been utilizing and learning, and like actually put them to good use. And I can tell you, with even now, if I get dizzy, it's not like potentially giving me a full anxiety attack. Will I be anxious? Yes, of course, but I can typically be rational about it and understand that, hey, you are going to be dizzy, and I can rationalize myself through it. I can use some breathing exercises. I can do some grounding techniques. I can do some gazing techniques. And then it, like, vestibular therapy made sense. And I'm like, oh, this is how you use it. This is how you're going to utilize it. As well as just like mental health has been just lifted so much. Honestly, had posted that I wanted to go into SSRIs, and that is something potentially that I may be looking into, but as of right now, I don't really feel like it's something that I really necessarily truly need, because my anxiety level has just decreased tremendously. Also, this week, I've just had such great support systems in terms of online support. I had gone into VEDA, and it's VEDA. You can Google it. It is a vestibular organization, and they have great support. I have gone to a meeting, which was great, as well as even just online, like Facebook and Reddit have been just amazing. I've actually met a couple people from some of those support groups. We've kind of IM'd each other, and it's been quite nice to be able to just talk about it and be able to relate to one another, and just talk about it makes it talking out loud about it makes it so much easier to relate, because only the people who actually have some vestibular disorder will understand what it is to live with it. So this what is kind of what happened this week. Like I said, next week I will be meeting with my ENT and coming up with a treatment plan. So I will have a full diagnosis, which I will share. But I wanted to just go over my experience. I hope your recovery is going well and have many blessings to come. Bye.